And hi again, everybody. I'm Gene Valicenti. This is the first of what we expect to be daily recapping coverage of the Karen Reed trial. About a week to go till we have opening statements. NBC 10's Katie Benoit will be up there every day and joining me for the recap. Katie, thanks for joining us today. The jury has been seated, 12 permanent and 6 alternates. Tell me, do all 18 of them sit every day in the box and then they'll find out at the end who's permanent, who's alternate? Is that how it works?
That's exactly it. So they sat 18 jurors. That was the goal. For a while, we were stuck at 16, but 18 jurors were selected, 9 men, 9 women. But they all will listen to the case. And then at the end, there'll be numbers drawn, and that's how it will be decided who will decide the case. But because this case is so long and so many weeks, it could be 6 to 8 weeks, there's a possibility that these jurors could, have to leave due to a personal reason. Also, they could get dismissed. They're not allowed to talk about the case with anyone, read media coverage about the case. So it's a lot to have to do for 6 to 8 weeks. And potentially, if they do see media coverage of the case, they do talk about the case, they could be kicked off the jury.
Right. They're not sequestered, right? They're free to come and go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not sequestered, free to come and go. All right. Usually with juries, we see the jury and then we have opening statements the next day. Why are we waiting a week in this case? What's going to go on between today and next Tuesday? Why are we waiting?
Mm-hmm. So there's a motion hearing tomorrow to go over all outstanding motions. So some kind of housekeeping before the trial begins. And then Friday is Good Friday. And then Monday is Patriots Day. So that's a holiday in Massachusetts. So the reason to wait is to start on Tuesday so the jury can come in fresh, hear openings, and then start right away instead of having a break. In the last trial, there was actually a lot of breaks. And, sometimes maybe that could be potentially distracting for jurors. Yeah. Maybe they go home, they think about things, possibly talk about the case in between if there's a long break. So really just getting them started on the right foot. The judge decided that Tuesday would be the day. The Commonwealth, the defense, all agreed with it. So that's the plan, Tuesday.
All right. Is there court action tomorrow and Thursday? Are there any motions, things to tie down, or no? We'll see you next Tuesday between the holiday and Good Friday and everything.
So there's a motion hearing tomorrow at 10 o'clock to go over all outstanding motions. There's been a couple motions filed while jury selection was going on. The Commonwealth filed a motion today. They say they want to use some of Karen Reed's statements that she has made in their opening statements. So that's one motion that's been filed. That might be something to go through tomorrow. But there are a couple of housekeeping items. There was also an expert for the Commonwealth that was unable to testify due to health reasons. So they're trying to swap out that expert with someone else. And I don't believe there's been a ruling on that. So that's something they could also go over tomorrow, whether that other witness is suitable to testify during this trial.
So these are things to nail down, and then we're still on schedule. Opening statements the next Tuesday. Now, she has been very talkative. More talkative than the last time around. I've noticed she speaks to reporters almost every day on the way out. Is this some sort of a strategy? Is this a change in demeanor? What's behind that, if you know?
Mm-hmm. So she's the only one that actually can talk to reporters right now. There's a gag order in effect for attorneys on both sides. So that means they can't say anything to us. In the first trial, a lot of times when we were walking out of court, her attorneys would be very vocal to the media. The prosecution has never really commented on this case at all. We see them coming and going out of court, but they've never stopped and spoken with the media one time since I've been there covering this over the last year. But her defense attorneys used to be very talkative, but there is a gag order in effect. And that was put in effect by Judge Beverly Cannoni because there was a fear that with so many people knowing about this case, there's been so much media coverage. There's been documentaries done recently that they weren't going to be able to find a jury. And that was a big concern. So that's something different. So she's the only one that's able to talk to reporters. So she's kind of, stepping up. And some days she doesn't talk to us. Some days it's short. Some days she kind of walks away. State police also have been very tight with security as well. There's some worries about the sidewalk just because when the media is walking, there's barriers. Some days she talks, but most days she has. But there's been a couple of days where she's been pretty quiet too. But she's the only one able to talk.
Well, she spoke today, so let's go ahead and roll what she said outside court today. Well, this is Tuesday. Let's listen.
How do you feel about the jury being seated? Stay.
Please, we're loaded for bear, ready to get the show on the road, and we're happy with the whole process today. Last 2 weeks.
How do you feel about Hank Brennan planning to use your interviews in his opening statement?
Come at me.
That's what your dad said.
I like your dad.
I may have seen it. I would not have said anything that I wouldn't say again.
Are you
Would you
pleased?
like to have more time than opening's Tuesday. Did you guys want originally hoping to get more time?
We're ready right now.
Are
you happy with these jurors, these 9 men and 9
Very
women?
pleased.
You've seen
Absolutely.
them
Yep.
up close,
I
and what do you
believe
think
they're
about them?
truthful, and they were questioned thoroughly. So I have confidence in.
All right, so that's what she said today on the way out. Now, just to recap, for those who haven't been following it as closely as maybe you or I have, her defense is she was out drinking with her Boston cop boyfriend. They were in a bar, and they got invited back to another couple's home. They drove over there. It was nighttime. She sat in the SUV or the car, whatever you want to call it, while he went in. She said, I said, go in and see if they're still there. The lights are out. He gets out, goes inside. And that's the last she sees of him. She says, I got angry waiting there. He never came back. I left. And the next time she sees him is when she comes back and they find the body. Is that still what we expect her to say? That's basically it in a nutshell?
Mm-hmm. So the defense alleges that someone inside the house had something to do with John O'Keefe's death. That's been their defense all along. Last trial, this trial, it's called the third party culprit defense. And the judge ruled it will be allowed in part, but not completely. They were pointing the finger at 3 people inside the house that night or had been at the party at some point. But it is allowed in part.
Yeah. So that's it. I was sitting in the car. He got out. He went inside. I got mad. I drove home. They'd all been drinking, and I never saw him alive again. And I didn't do it. And someone inside that house did it. And that's basically where we sit. It's the second bite of the apple with the retrial. All right, NBC 10's Katie Benoit. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll be doing this every day as long as the trial proceeds. And we're going to get started with opening statements next Tuesday. I'm Gene Valicenti for NBC 10.